Chisora, Derek Chisora, Derek Chisora. Those are the words of Derek Chisora, as Derek Chisora claims that Oleksandr Usyk is running from Joseph Parker. Now, let me counterpunch. Very clever Derek is, and for many reasons, and I'm going to explain why. For one, we have a person that, in a sense, Derek believes in the Joseph justice, the justice for Joseph, right? And it makes sense because the WBO is now putting pressure on Usyk, being the WBO champion, that, hey, you need to fight this guy. And with the possibilities or the options that Usyk has, Team Usyk, they have the option to sign or write to the WBO to keep Parker remaining a mandatory, to stay a mandatory so he can fight Daniel Dubois because he wants double undisputed. Everyone knows that. That's the reason, right? And I believe that Usyk doesn't run from anyone. The only problem is, like Derek said, he's already beat Daniel Dubois. So you already beat someone. It don't matter what he has, because the belt that he has is the belt that you allowed him to have, that you gave to him. You see what I mean? So it's like, hey, let me give you this, let you borrow it, and then let me come back and take it back later. That's what you're seeing in that situation. However, I wouldn't have any issue with Usyk fighting Dubois if he had already beat guys like Caballero and Bakali and Zhang and Parker. If he's already done that song and dance with those guys, why not see a rematch? See, it doesn't warrant a rematch yet, because I don't think Usyk has fought enough contenders or enough guys that are up in line for him to mandate or to satisfy his mandatories. I just don't believe that, because you do have fresh challenges. You do have different styles, and you want to see what Usyk is able to do with those guys and their styles. Whereas Derek, he's smart because he knows, he's like, well, look, I think that, that Joseph Parker should fight Usyk, and then I get first dibs at Dubois, me being number one. Or you fight him, like he said, saying, well, hey, I'll wait to fight Danny Dubois after Usyk for a stadium fight in the UK. And he's doing that because he knows there's a good chance that Usyk may do the same shit that he did to Danny Dubois before. And then when that happens, Frank can then open the floodgates of that flood, that unlift that protection from Daniel Dubois, because there's no need. He's went out for the belts with Usyk. He's come up short. He then gets the belt. He beats Hergovic. He beats Joshua. You know what I mean? And then he loses to Usyk again. Well, there's no reason for him to keep that on. Let him fight Derek Chisora at that point. Give Derek Chisora and Dubois a stadium fight, being locals, being British fighters, right? So, yeah, I don't think that Frank will be opposed to that at that point. Once that happens, on top of what will transpire in that Usyk fight. See, this is what I think. I think Daniel Dubois did himself a favor by quitting. See, the crazy as that may sound, and I'm going to explain, he pissed Usyk off when he hit him below the belt, because Usyk, along with the judges, the referee's ruling, hey, you hit me low. And then he just didn't. That wasn't the only time he hit him low. See, he started to hit Usyk low, and Usyk was already pissed from that round 5 uppercut, below right there in the prostate area, that bladder prostate area that he caught him in. And what it is, Usyk was starting to unload shots at Daniel Dubois, because remember, Usyk is a guy that when it gets to round 9, 10, 11, and 12, he's pressing that gas to the floor. He's hitting that gas pedal to the floor. So he's coming out throwing bows. And Daniel Dubois seen that. He's like, no, before he starts whooping into my ass, I'm going to get down and take a knee. Okay? And that's exactly what he did. And I think if he would have taken that type of beating, he wouldn't have been the same type of fighter, but he didn't. but I think at this point he will. Okay, so if Derek Chisora waiting for Daniel Dubois, he's going to wait for a Daniel Dubois that just got his ass whooped by Oleksandr Usyk. You see what I'm saying? So at that point, Derek has a better chance. Take a little layoff. He beat the shit out of Otto Weiland. He dropped him, been the first one to do it in dynamic fashion. Then he's going to take a long break, watch that show with Usyk beating Daniel Dubois again, then takes the fight with Daniel Dubois later on in the year, knowing Daniel Dubois won't be the same type of fighter because mentally he may be broken or he may not be repaired in the first place, and we'll learn that about that fight if he fights Usyk again, because that's a style that I think he has trouble with. You see what I mean? Nothing more, nothing less. So with Derek Chisora, calling Usyk a runner, trying to force either Joseph to fight Usyk and leave himself available for Dubois or wait for Dubois later on after defeat from Usyk is a good strategy. But you guys tell me what you think of Derek Chisora stating that Oleksandr Usyk stopped running from Joseph Parker. Justice for Joseph Parker. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch.